It's time for a non-conference toss-up in the Hill City. The Lynchburg Hornets are back in town. They're taking on the Christopher Newport Captains. A little unorthodox start to this one. We've got everybody lined up on Schellenberger Field because we have Senior Day recognition on the way. It's a pretty special affair. We're going to send it over to our PA announcer, Sam Graham, for all the festivities right here in Lynchburg.
This afternoon's NCAA Women's Lacrosse game featuring the visiting captains of Christopher Newport University and your Lynchburg Hornets. Fans, today is a special day as it is the Lynchburg Women's Lacrosse Team's Senior Day. Please join us in celebrating the class of 2024. First up, number 5, Maddie Mueller. Maddie Mueller from Malvern, Pennsylvania is joined by her parents, Susan and Adam, and siblings, Addison and Autumn, as well as her grandparents. Graduating with a degree in psychology, Maddie will be attending a graduate program for school psychology. Ladies and gentlemen, Maddie Mueller. Number 6, Jade Mayer. Jade Mayer from Springfield, Virginia is a political science major with minors in law and society and criminology. She is joined by her mom, Julie, dad, Brian, and family friends, Liz and Dave. Jade's academic achievements include the Joseph F. Freeman III Award and Best Senior Thesis in Political Science. She's president of the Free Law Society, a Westover Honors student, and a member of the Student Judicial Board. On the field, Jade is a team captain and earned IWLCA academic honors in 2023. A leader both in sports and academics, she's off to law school following graduation. Ladies and gentlemen, Jade Mayer. Number 12. Corinne West. Corinne is a graduate student from Killingly, Connecticut, and is joined by her parents, Jill and Rob. She is planning on attending an accelerated Bachelor of Science of Nursing school, has been on the Dean's List twice, and is the VP for Philanthropy for Alpha Chi Omega. Ladies and gentlemen, Corinne West. Number 20, Tori King. Tori King is from Falls Church, Virginia. She is joined by her parents, Stephen King and Kathy Braun. Majoring in business administration with a marketing minor, Tori is set to pursue real estate following graduation. Ladies and gentlemen, Tori King. Number 23, Peyton Seville. Peyton Seville is a Berryville, Virginia native and is graduating with a bachelor's in nursing and a minor in health promotions. She is joined by her family, Kim Seville, David Seville, Taylor Sears, and Ripley Sears. She earned the Tulip Award from Central Hospital and consistently made the Dean's List throughout her time at Lynchburg. On the field, she's been the ODAC Player of the Week and was named to the second team All-ODAC in 2023. After graduation, Peyton plans to work as a registered nurse at Fairfax Hospital in Northern Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, Peyton Seville. Number 27, Kaylin Satterfield. Kaylin Satterfield from Baltimore, Maryland is joined by her mother, Yana, father, Paul, sister, Sari, and brother, Aiden. She is graduating with a biology major and has earned recognition on the IWLCA Academic Honor Roll and as a recipient of the National Science Foundation GeoPaths Grant. Kaylin's Kayla's internship at the Virginia Museum of Natural History has involved preparing dinosaur fossils and conducting vital research on microfossils. Her dedication has earned her a spot on the 2021 third team All-ODAC. After graduation, Kayla plans to work in the field of conservation biology and promote environmental consciousness. Ladies and gentlemen, Kaylin Satterfield. Number 30, Kayla Brady. Kayla is joined by her friends Aaron Boatwright, Brooke Highland, Riley Cameron, and Maria McRodney. She's a member of the NFHCA All-Academic Team and was an All-Region goalie. After graduation, she plans to take a gap year to work before pursuing grad school to become a physical therapist. Ladies and gentlemen, Kayla Brady. Ladies and gentlemen, please, one more final applause for the Lynchburg Women's Lacrosse Class of 2024.
As always, so much fun on senior day, and you've seen the entire list now, everybody who has been around the program for a pretty long time, and even the newcomers. Kayla Brady coming over from the field hockey team, still getting recognition. We know Corinne West, has been a somewhat newcomer for this program, the goalkeeper this season. She's going to have her hands full today. This is a CNU captain squad that likes to score often. They are one of the best in the nation, ranked 19th in the latest poll, 10-4. In their first two games this season, they knocked off WNL and Roanoke, two familiar foes in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. But Lynchburg is on a streak of its own, came back from Averett, and now winning two straight, just trying to continue the momentum after what was a monumental, memorable Code Red affair versus Randolph-Macon. They want to keep it going today. The vibes are awesome in Lynchburg. We had a track meet since 10 a.m. this morning. We have been going at it right here in the press box, but we are having fun. We're going to talk a little bit more about the 60 minutes ahead of us on the other side, but real quick, we will give you a quick rundown. This is a Lynchburg squad that is coming into this game, and you understand the emotions. It has been a lot of highs and lows, but they have a tough schedule ahead of them. CNU, Shenandoah, and WNL, these three opponents, all ranked and all in a very good spot in the season. And so you know that Lynchburg comes into this game with a strong conference record that sits right now at 6-1, but they do have a lot of work to do, and Coach Rafferty knows that it is far from over. So we will head to break. We will be right back on Schellenberger Field right here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Hornets Captains coming next.
All right, my name is Joshua Carr. I am a senior. I am a theater major as well as a history minor. I love the arts. I love acting. I love entertaining. I live in 5th Street, the historic black neighborhood. The money came in, transfer, scholarship, all that. I appreciate that greatly. I pay my own tuition. I ain't got no help. I pay everything myself. I mean, I'm smart too. So they gave it like, you smart, here, here, here. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that though. You come here to do a job. I came here to do a job. A student's job is to get that degree and make something of ourselves. We got everything for you. We got you a 24-hour library. You got these sorority fraternities. We got the shoot for you. Is you gonna put it on? That's how University of Lynchburg is. Success is in the details. You know what I'm saying? It's like you learn it, know better, do better. What I love is they allow us to speak. They want our voices to be heard. They want us to talk. They want us to bring up the discomfort. They respect our point of views. They respect Black Lives Matter. They respect the LGBT community. They respect those, you know what I'm saying? That's what I love about my school. They respect that, and they allow us to showcase and voice our expressions. I love the diversity here. I love the different interests of people here. I can act, dance, sing, box, play football. I can do it all. You know what I'm saying? I can teach somebody that doesn't know what I know, and that person can teach me something that I don't know that they know. That's what you get here. You get diversity. You get different people with different knowledge coming together, sharing information and helping each other out. That's what I love. That's why I say people. I love the people here. College, think about it. If it's not for you, fall back. If it's for you, go further with it. And University of Lynchburg will be that choice. It's gonna be right there. They're gonna make the shoe. They're gonna do what it do. It's up for you to put that shoe on. So that's what I say.
Almost ready for game time in the Hill City, just about ready for Hornets and Captains, a battle that, as we introduced already, is going to be a good one. CNU, one of the best in the nation, but you have to imagine Lynchburg will have some extra energy on Senior Day. They come into this game after an 18-3 victory at Averett, and 3 players with hat tricks in that affair. They were up 9-0 after the first quarter. You expect something special, but CNU has been battle-tested all year, and despite not playing a game in the Coast to Coast Conference yet, they have faced many ODAC opponents. We have seen so many of these great results from CNU, a squad that just keeps elevating and celebrating. They got a great star up front, when they really have a few stars, but Kelsey Winters, the first-team All-American from last year, has come up in a big way. 52 assists on the season. Julia Pika, 45 goals for the Captains in this 2024 campaign. You know Lynchburg is going to have its hands full, and we are just excited to get ready. So one final break as we approach the national anthem here in Lynchburg. We're so glad you're joining us on LHSN.
Be ready for anything, okay?
Come on, let's go together! Together, let's go! Come on! Let's go, keep going! There's the best trip.
Straight? Straight up? Yep. Okay.
Cool. Good one.
All right, guys, you see the meat grinder down here?
Stay in the boat, let's go! Camera? Oh, what you think of that? Woo!
It's time for the opening moment from this 60. Lynchburg, Christopher Newport going to battle. It is going to be a game that is a lot of twists and turns, but it will be a big loss for Lynchburg with McKenna Steinow not suiting up for this one. And so obviously the attack is going to have a few burdens on their hands. Can they find the contributors? But there is one thing that is certain. Lynchburg, if you paid attention to those senior day festivities, has a lot of representation in the starting lineup with veteran leaders, and that's not just because it's senior day. Almost the majority of these seniors find their spot in the starting lineup, and we will see how that is impacted today as we get ready for the opening draw at midfield. Let's go ahead and bring you these starting lineups from Schellenberger Field. For CNU, it's Iapika, Winters, McDonald, Collins, Guidi, and Morrison up front. Jackson, Hunter, Welch, Rosganye, and Rusinko will be on the back with Chadwick and goal. Lynchburg goes out with familiar faces despite missing Steinow up front. Dumas, Morris, King, Seville, Hauser, Bradley is your front six. Mueller, Mayer, Wheeler, Bornholt, and Satterfield in the back. Corinne West will be between the pipes. As you see on your screen, 10-4. The Christopher Newport captains, they will try to get it done today. This is a team that has been formidable across the board. You understand what you're going up against if you're Lynchburg. This is a squad that not only scores at a high rate, but is very good defensively. And you look at the statistical categories, the way that Lynchburg has played this season, nothing will exactly pop out at you because Lynchburg has been so good against teams that they should beat. They won almost every single game by double digits up until that Randolph-Macon game for Code Red, and now a little different. Facing CNU at home, just one home loss. Lynchburg just continuing to rock and roll, trying to keep it steady the entire way. You remember that loss versus Messiah earlier in the year. Tough opponents have really rattled the Hornets in some of those moments, but I'll tell you this, they are ready to play. You feel a very different sense of energy and a chance to pull an upset. CNU Lynchburg meet in the middle. Up and away we go. CNU with the push, and here the captains are in action. They have such a strong attack that they're going to try to use throughout this game. Here's Guidi looking to Kelsey Winters. Winters has been phenomenal with CNU and just what she has been able to accomplish. First team All-American last season. Coming into this one, 16 goals and 52 assists in this 2024 campaign. How many times is that the makeup for 68 points? You don't see it, but a facilitator nonetheless, and the captains really appreciate her contributions. You know, Iapika will also get goals, the team leader in that category. And immediately after the draw, just working it around. Winters sends it the other way. CNU consent with the shot clock just under 40. Nice move from Guidi. Shovels it inside. There's another pass. Shot off the mark. And it will roll out. The captains maintain possession. Last time these teams met was March 29th, 2023. CNU getting it done 16-5, and they have really dominated this series history, winning 13 of 17. There's a good indication of why. Opening goal scored by Julia Iapika, number 46 on the season. She slots it home for the captain's first of the ball game. Iapika leading the team in goals and ground balls, and just has been really rough and rugged throughout this season. She is willing to do the hard work. Second team All-American last year, and you know, with the attacking contributions up front, everything just continues to flow. The way this team operates, they are so strong when they can maintain possession. That's something that Lynchburg will look to do today. A reason why they had success in that game versus Randolph-Macon. If you remember, it was a one-goal affair where Lynchburg was able to come away with it, and the draw control was a really good separator. CNU gets this one, and Guidi will take off again. So very similar to the first play of the ball game, and now captains maintain. Lynchburg in a spot looking for a big win. That will have to wait as CNU does not wait. Smooth operation as they get goal number 2. Just continues to pummel the Lynchburg defense, and the Hornets have some very solid defenders. It is a veteran-led defense. You heard Kaylin Satterfield, one of the seniors, recognized before the game. Meredith Bornholt has just continued to elevate her performances, but just another quick attack, and CNU has a chance to keep Lynchburg's defense out of, or keep Lynchburg's offense out of this ball game as much as possible. We mentioned the draw control. Lynchburg won that category 19-11 versus Randolph-Macon. Tori King played a key role. She had 9. They send out a different look now. Tori King unable to corral this one. CNU almost had it. Never mind that. Neely Morris exits stage left, and Lynchburg finally has its first possession of the game. Neely Morris has been so solid. 2 games this season with 6 or more goals, and you can look at the stat sheet, and goals will always pop out, but that is not exactly why she has been so efficient. The draw control has worked, facilitates play for her teammates, and trying to get others going today. Lynchburg dishing the pass inside. Tori King goes up and over. Number 20 takes her shot, and Lynchburg perfect in that category. They put their first in the back of the net. Tori King, a senior from Falls Church, Virginia. Well, that was clinical. It did not take long, and Lynchburg, after really conceding the first few possessions, just having to sit on its heels, able to return, and a very nice play. Just a dish to King and an opportunity to bring it back to a 1-goal affair. A lot of scoring in the opening few minutes of this one. Peyton Seville did so well just to stay patient. And now back to the circle we go. We'll see if Tori King can create some more magic. This one clearly gets King's stick, except it goes over, and now CNU can retain. Interesting enough how CNU has yet to play a coast-to-coast game this season, and we know this is one of the unconventional conferences, but they have played some strong opponents, 3-1 in ranked games this season. Shots off the mark, rattles through. And there you go, the captains able to find the net again. It has just been residence in the first few minutes. We talk a lot about it throughout the season, the goalkeeping stats versus the defensive stats, and it's so tricky when you try to figure out. You don't want to place blame on anybody, but it is a game that you recognize. There are so many facets of this defense that just allow you to make the game simpler. But when you have people coming out, really passing nicely and getting those cuts at the right time, it just makes the job 10 times worse. Lynchburg down 3-1 early. CNU 3 goals on 4 shots. They're coming off of a strong matchup versus Rowan in Glassboro, New Jersey. They won that one 19-11. Oddly enough, it was 1-1 after the first quarter. CNU would go on to have a 10-6 advantage at the half. 14 total goals in that second quarter, and they just continued operating. Guidi and Iapika combined for 11 goals. This is a team that when they are functioning well, they're so good because they can pass, they make you pay, and they make you play an entire possession. So many teams in D3 that can run quickly, but the luxury of being able to pass and protect that passing is a really key asset for these championship teams. We know CNU is a squad that is looking to make a big impact. This pass rattled into King. There's a call. We will see if it's a free position shot on the way. Haven't seen one of those yet. King will get her opportunity. CNU last year lost 15-6 in the NCAA second round versus Gettysburg. did make it to the tournament, and they are on their way back if they can continue operating. King, shot just falls outside a little awkwardly, and now CNU trying to start the transition. Here they go the other way. Took a few scoops, and now they finally can just sit back and start passing. Another example is just the clear percentage for some of these teams is so great, and Lynchburg's opponents are being held to about 52% on the season in that category. That might be a stat that we have to watch throughout this game. Can CNU take those clears and turn them into goals? Because Lynchburg's defense has just been stifling. It allows the offense to really stay in possession for longer. And possession stats, though you don't have a number in women's lacrosse, you do understand that that could be a difference maker. Lynchburg has really struggled when they have lost the draw control. Turnovers have not been the issue this season. This one, nice move from Guidi to just get down Main Street. Fires it home. Not much you can do when Guidi is operating at that level. Came into this game with 42 goals and just functioning for the captains in the sense that she is not limited to just the goal column. Also, 28 draw controls on the season. Just 13 turnovers, and these attackers have really had to watch that throughout the season. In the turnover category, coming into this game, these two teams are relatively even. Lynchburg averaging 14.2, CNU 13.6. So if you want to get mathematical in that sense, it does matter, but we know Lynchburg is averaging a lot less than last season. They are protecting it at a high rate. A few whistles after the draw. Looks like it will be CNU's possession. Mentioned that the Dennis Craddock Coaches Classic was taking place earlier today, so this is a pretty special day on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. Track meet early in the morning into the afternoon. You've got a women's lacrosse game followed by the men. If you have walked around campus, you have certainly encountered some of the sports throughout the day. Baseball down at Fox Field, so if you are a Lynchburg fan, great day to be in the Hill City. But we are glad you're joining us on LHSN. Not exactly a quick trip from Christopher Newport to Lynchburg. Look at that spin move. Dumas just going to elect to take it out. She is so strong in isolation, that one-on-one play, but right now you see Iapika doing just enough to deny. Here's Dumas. There's another move. Finally Shifty into the circle. We will see if a free position shot is on the way. No, it's going to stay with CNU, so strong defense. But it's going to be another move right back. Dumas goes to the turf. Lynchburg will take over. Here's Reagan Bradley, one of three who had a hat trick in that last game versus Averett. You try to get the offense going, and it has been really by committee for Lynchburg. Sydney Dumas, who had the ball in her stick, is one of the main contributors on this squad. Leads the team with 39 goals this season, 16 assists, but continuing to see more contributors. And if Neely Morris has any more 6 or 8 goal affairs, you have to expect that will get a little bit closer for that team lead. 100 points for Sydney Dumas. Look at that. CNU, strong defense and working up the field quickly. Brooklyn Morrison just took it, and now going the other way, the captains take the pass to Winters. Extra one inside, Iapika connects. Kelsey Winters. That 9-11 connection that just continues to treat the captains well. 52 assists coming into this contest, and Kelsey Winters continues to get it done. CNU has found their 5th, and it is still not halfway through this first quarter. You understand why this team is so strong. They started the season beating Washington and Lee, Roanoke, Randolph-Macon. It was just a very strong turn of events when you know what they did last year. And you end the season on a loss, you're trying to just build momentum from the start, and they certainly turned it into some fuel. Lost a game versus Shenandoah where they scored just 6 goals. But other than that, they have been very solid throughout the season. Suffered defeats to York and Denison later on in the campaign, but back on a 2-game winning streak. As are the Hornets, beating Randolph-Macon and Averett after a really tough Roanoke loss. You can't let it take all the wind out of your sails, but you do know that the season is very quick. You got to maintain. There's a green card. Our first penalty box action of the day. Neely Morris a little too extracurricular, so CNU takes over. They don't hold it for long. Quick passing, connect the dots material, and they have really just allowed this offense to be free-flowing early in this game. 5 goals on 6 shots. Just throwing at the dartboard. Here come the captains. They like to make the extra pass inside. This one scatters around. Now second opportunity. Coach Lisa Valentine in her 9th season has really led this team to be on a national scale. This one rattles off. CNU will have another opportunity. Coach Valentine, 22 all-conference selections, 13 weeks in the top 25 since 2021. That's not including this season either, and so expect that to go up because Christopher Newport has really stapled their name in the rankings. Dodge inside, bounces it in. Brooklyn Morrison. Execution to the highest extent and a great shot coming into this game. 25 goals, now make it 26 for Morrison, number 1 in blue, just getting it done. And CNU has quickly made this game into a 5-goal lead. We will see a timeout from Coach Mackenzie Rafferty. Wants to talk some things over and perhaps shift some of this defense. Lynchburg going to try to find some winning ways, trying to get back in the goal tally. We'll be right back on LHSN.
Get your career in the game by enrolling in the University of Lynchburg MBA program with an emphasis in sport management. This program opens the doors to new possibilities for a variety of careers, from being an athletic director or working in athletic administration to working for professional organizations, your favorite team, to running a local Parks and Rec department. And employers are increasingly requesting and preferring individuals who have postgraduate education, specifically looking for an MBA. And so the University of Lynchburg Sport Management concentration in the MBA program sets you up for success, and it sets you apart from the many other people looking for jobs in the industry. Learn from winners. Here you will learn from professors and mentors who have spent their careers doing exactly what you want to do. Increase your marketability in an $83 billion industry. If you have a 3.0 GPA, the GMAT is waived. There's no application fee, admissions occurs on a rolling basis, and our online program is ideal for working adults. When you enroll in this program, you enroll in the opportunity to learn from the best of the best. Your professors have a wealth of experience working in the sport industry that they share with you in the classroom setting. Get in the game by getting your MBA with a sport management concentration at the University of Lynchburg. Just you know, Hollywood, here I come. Hey, I meant, yeah.
The real Lindsay Piper's here.
Autographs there later.
Christopher Newport showing us what they're all about as we meet in the draw circle again. 6-1, the early stages of this one. The captains return multiple All-Americans, and you have seen why. Their attacking prowess, just getting it done left and right. What does Lynchburg have to offer now? Everybody waiting for it. Hornets just elect to throw this one back. You got to be careful. Bornholt gets the pass off, and now Satterfield can take over. Or no, that's Wheeler, excuse me. Wheeler will wait this one out. Some isolation. You wonder out of the timeout what was said in the huddle. You understand that the premise was likely we need to start really tightening up this defense, but the logistics might be a little more complicated. Lynchburg and Coach Rafferty in her first season, we talked about Coach Valentine and the opposing squad. Coach Rafferty has really just injected some energy into the squad, and you get a sense of a little more buy-in the way that they are getting things done already. Having a very nice season when you look at last year and what they're doing this year. 9-4 in the record book, that's one thing. From a goal standpoint, at last season, they scored 201 in 17 games, and then this year they're already at 190 through 13. So Lynchburg's offensive production has certainly been bolstered by the additions and really this new style. Shot off the mark from Morrison. A lot of run and gun for Lynchburg, and when they get the clears, they are so strong. They don't wait, and that's what makes them a tough team to beat, especially if you're a team that thrives on possession. You can't turn it over. That's why CNU has not struggled so far. Shot goes in. The captains have found the net again. Maddie Lamy gets this one. And now CNU has found its 7th. Spectacular stuff for the captains. There's really not much else you could do for Lynchburg. Understanding this offense, you just have to rattle it. But once they pick their spots, this is one of the best teams in the nation. They are so strong. Continuing to keep it rolling. 3 with 40-plus points. Trying to make this the year if you're CNU. You got a lot of grad students and seniors up front. We understand that already with Winters and Iapika, you're just getting that veteran leadership within your offense. That's something Lynchburg doesn't have right now. The Hornets have more veterans on the defensive side of things. It's really this sophomore class that has been the renaissance for Lynchburg. They're trying to usher in new attackers. We've seen Maya Hauser. Hat trick last time at home versus Randolph-Macon. Those are the types of attackers that will really allow you to open up this game. CNU Iapika eyeing the goal. This one passed out, and another goes into the middle. Iapika slots it home. It is just clinical stuff. Number 11 says, I can do it too. She has been sensational all season long, and now Lynchburg in an 8-1 hole. Iapika on the season, 54 points, 38 ground balls, 28 caused turnovers. She does absolutely everything for the captains, and we saw one of the opening possessions for Lynchburg really just staying dialed in on Sydney Dumas. It's one thing to be one of the bigger contributors on your squad from a stat standpoint, but when you can shut down other contributors, it makes you even more valuable. Back to the draw circle. Tori King, really an unsung hero in that Randolph-Macon game. 2 goals, 9 draw controls. That was a reason that they were able to keep possession, to keep momentum early in that game. Morrison pass up front, CNU right back to it. This is a CNU squad that will continue to keep things rolling. Just 2 games left on the schedule before the coast-to-coast tournament. They'll face Mary Washington at home, Salisbury on the road. Interesting enough, you know that the coast-to-coast tournament features teams from California, and then you have a few schools here on the East Coast, so you wonder what the logistics will look like in that tournament. There's another shot from CNU that finds home Sid Guidi. You love when you have an array of goal scorers because you understand it's not limited to one or two up front. Yeah, you have Iapika. Yeah, you have Kelsey Winters really dishing it out at an elite level. But there are so many on the CNU squad that have found the goal this season. They have 7 in double digits for goals scored. Kayla Brady going to the goal for Lynchburg, so Corinne West will come out. Not going to insinuate then her day is done. Kayla Brady has been very accomplished with Lynchburg's field hockey team. Later in the season, comes over to the lacrosse squad trying to show what she is capable of. And what's interesting is that with Brady, you have to expect a lot of those low shots are going to be in her wheelhouse. She understands the fundamentals of getting down and blocking those. So you want to look at the top frames, the top corners, to try and solve that problem. But the thing with Brady is I think she is getting more comfortable in goal to where there isn't exactly a target that you can look at. You just got to go and find the best opportunity. I don't think that teams are sitting back and scouting in the sense that they're going to choose a spot to go to. But Kayla Brady has operated at a high level, and obviously with this field hockey team that found so much success, went to the national quarterfinals, they're continuing to get it done. Ball loose. Who wants it? Winters had a shot at it, and now Lynchburg and Bornholt sends it the other way. Almost a turnover. Now they're escaping. Here comes Maya Hauser. Dashing away from trouble. It was close, but the Hornets now have a pocket. Pass goes awry. Neely Morris is going to try to get to it first, but CNU can take over. We mentioned McKenna Steinow not in the starting lineup today. She has been really good for Lynchburg this season. 21 goals, 11 assists. Really one of the first times that we saw a large performance from her was that Southern Virginia game earlier this season where Lynchburg went down early, caught a timeout, and ever since they just had a very different energy about them. They were all over the field. Very few games have been close for Lynchburg this season. It's gone one way or another, and early in the CNU game, we're seeing much of the same. That was a strong move from number 3, Guidi, going back to her spot. Here comes CNU again. Oh, wow. Under and over. Kelsey Winters with a cold take to the net. CNU has netted 10 in the first quarter. Kelsey Winters just makes the game look so easy, and that is just a testament to her prowess, her patience. Winters has just been one of those players where when you look at a postseason run, you have to understand that those are the players, the personnel that can get things rolling, and they can do so very quickly. The dominoes start falling in the first quarter when you play this team and you understand that they like to take control. Earlier this season, though, the numbers in the first quarter have not popped out for the Christopher Newport squad. They've outscored opponents just 39-31 in the first quarter. That is still a pretty large advantage, but when you look at the other quarters and the way that they have dominated teams later in games, it starts to really mitigate that 8-goal difference. But it will be a big advantage to bolster that category after this one. 10-1 in this first quarter. Christopher Newport has just taken over, and it's a long road trip for the captains here to Lynchburg, but they have taken the training wheels off immediately. Now it's just passing around. Patient, who wants to take it. Morrison outside. Still batting it around. There's the pass in. Guidi had a shot. Whistle called. Might be a free position shot on the way. Said Guidi will have a good look at it right down central. Can she capitalize? 1:12 on the clock. 10 goals on 14 shots for CNU. And now it's just Guidi and Brady. One-on-one stuff. This shot fires right, finds it. 11 for CNU. Pick the target and fire. Sid Guidi stacking it for CNU, and they might have a few with hat tricks by the time this one is said and done. They have just elevated, coming out quickly. 3-1 versus ranked opponents. We talked about those W&L and Roanoke games. Just 2-goal victories. They scored double digits in both. Really good vote of confidence, and despite that W&L game being on the road, this is a CNU squad that's just 3-3 in road games. They've lost 4 on the season, and so you know that they have been more successful at home. I don't think you can attribute that to travel. It might just be the schedule that they have faced. But as of now, if this result holds, it will be a winning record in that category again. Here come the captains on the doorstep. Pass inserted. Morrison makes it money. As the clock expires, did it count is the question. Either way, it is just a punch in the stomach to end the first quarter. And Brooklyn Morrison looks to have beaten the buzzer. Wow. Good stuff for CNU and Lynchburg, just trying to find its footing to end this first quarter. It has been utter dominance for the captains as we roll into the second quarter. So depending on that goal, if it stands, it looks like it will be 12-1 CNU to wrap up the first 15 minutes right here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Welcome to the Campus Recreational Department at the University of Lynchburg. We believe in a student-centered approach to recreation, making sure that all students have fun and engaging activities that promotes wellness, personal growth, and community building.
Our team works to provide a variety of recreation opportunities for all our undergrad and graduate students.
Let's take a look at the different areas of campus rec.
Campus recreation covers all outdoor recreation. Our team offers dozens of trips per semester, maintains recreation facilities on campus, and offers outdoor certificates and leadership training.
Intramurals is open to all students who wants to play on a team. We have men's, women's, and co-ed leagues for each sport we offer.
Those looking for next level competition can join club sports. These are student-led organizations with the support of campus recreation. You can join one of our established club sports, or you can start your own with our support.
Campus recreation offers an excellent amount of opportunities to stay active, make new friends, and develop new skills. We hope to see you soon.
My name is Davion Washington Jr.
Goal counts to end the first quarter, and really just a tough one for Lynchburg to concede, as now CNU is shooting 75%, 12-1 here in this start of the second quarter. Not a mathematician, but it's almost a goal per minute for CNU. Give a few seconds change, and it has just been fire away type of mentality for the captains. Thought the track meet was over, but they are just running it early here in the non-conference matchup. You don't have many of those at this stage of the season, especially once you hit April, but we are here with a few conference games left on the docket. Lynchburg's schedule is not easy. We will just put it that way. There is no faking it. They will be facing Shenandoah on Wednesday in their One Love game. And And then on the road at Washington and Lee. 2 games versus ranked opponents in the conference. The ODAC has just been formidable. WNL's dominance goes back a very long way. If you look at the seasons in the past, the last time that they lost a conference championship was 2009 versus Roanoke. And ever since 2003, they have won every other conference championship. They're looking to add on again. They beat Roanoke just barely early in the year. Neely Morris takes a shot, saved. It's the first save of the day for Christopher Newport's Hadley Chadwick. Comes into this one with an 8.69 goals against average. 76 saves on the season. That's for 41%. She's been very solid, and when you break CNU's defense, you finally get possession. You still got a pretty tough opponent between the pipes, and now CNU going the other way. We'll see some passing, see what they do. They just force you offensively to spots you don't want to be in, and it is very awkward if you're not expecting it from your offense. They almost force you to your offhand. Here's Iapika. A few steps now the other way. Good communication on defense, except they let her get away. Shot dribbles out. CNU averaging just under 14 goals a game. This team is functioning on all cylinders, and it doesn't take a result like this to understand it. Sometimes you just watch teams and the elite ones start to stand out. They do the little things right. Out of those almost 14 that they're averaging, they're assisting on 7.5. This one called, and we'll send it Lynchburg's way. Risky pass. Bornholt's going to have to go back to Corral. Uses the goal as little divide, and now Lynchburg trying to jumpstart the offense. Mentioned how historically CNU has really dominated the series. It's interesting when you look at the ODAC because some programs have relatively new teams building the culture. There was a span earlier this season where Lynchburg played 3 straight teams that they had never lost to. They did extend that streak, and that is why their conference record is so high. They have been able to really capitalize in games that they should be winning. I think a few of them early in the season got away. You look at Meredith, a game that they felt like they should have won. Messiah came into town. You didn't really know what the expectation would be, and though Lynchburg really struggled in that game, it was just an absolute display from Messiah's offense, much of the same that we have seen it against the CNU squad. Morrison looked like she was just going to stay put. This pass goes all the way through, threads the needle, and now Lynchburg can take over. Senior Day festivities in the Hill City, not just limited to this lacrosse game, added for the track meet this morning. So many seniors in this particular class that have experienced troubles early in their careers. You know that the COVID pandemic kind of aligned with their arrival on campus, and so they use the ever cliche word, how it was unprecedented. You just think back to COVID, the way that it impacted so many people. But at the same time, you know that it does really mold you into who you need to be. Pressure makes diamonds, and these seniors have fought through a lot. They're now on the other side of it, and metaphorically, as spring starts to bloom, you can tell that this class is ready to go. Still having a lot of fun in our final month on campus and really starting to wind down into the postseason. It is so crazy to talk about it. This spring season always flying by, and late April is on our doorstep. CNU just connecting up front, looking for the pass in the middle. There you go, whips the shot. This one saved by Brady. Very quick look from Drew Stanley just over the shoulder. Couldn't get it to operate. Now Lynchburg goes the other way. Bornholt connects to Mayer. One of the captains on the squad, a senior recognized before the game, and Reagan Bradley breaking loose. Isolation, Lynchburg might have numbers. Bradley looks, dodges spin move into a great position, just tripped up, and it will be a free position shot on the way. Waiting to see, it is a card. Sydney Dumas was sent to the box. Now CNU will have the reverse. Kate Lamandola. Few substitutions going into quick positioning for CNU. Bradley found her spot. That was a fantastic spin move to create some isolation. Just couldn't get the shot off in time before encountering the contact. And now, pretty cheap opportunity if Lynchburg can cash in. Emma Timberg coming in. We'll see if Lynchburg passes this one up. They took a lot more shots last year. Bradley is out, so Timberg's taking it. It will be just a pass out. Tori King will take over. Maybe if Bradley was still in, that shot would have been fired. Emma Timberg, the sophomore from Williamsburg. Pass inside. That was a good look. It just misses. King couldn't get it to connect. Now CNU wraps it up and winds it up down the field. We'll see what the captains have in store in the second quarter. They have yet to score in this frame. A lot of patient passing. This one almost goes away. It does. Lynchburg has the turnover, and now pass down the field. Isolation for Lynchburg up front. Well, they look for Dumas. Timberg connects to 7. On her knees, back up off the turf, bounces it home. Looks like a crease violation happened first. Dumas had a golden opportunity. There's a timeout for Christopher Newport, trying to really unpack that possession. It looked like Dumas went inside the crease just at the last second. Dumas is getting some confirmation on the call afterwards. We'll try to get confirmation up here ourselves. We'll be right back on the other side. 9:22 in the second quarter. CNU up big on LHSN.
I wanted to be a physical therapist probably starting about halfway through college. I love the concept that exercise is medicine. You know, we're starting to discover that exercise really can remedy many of the things that we thought that only surgery or only drugs could remedy in the past. When the student comes here, it's because we believe in them, it's because we want them here, it's because we believe they'll be successful. The faculty here are devoted to their development, not only academically but also professionally. We're not so inundated with things that we don't have time to make students one of our highest priorities. We have your back. We're gonna help you through that. If you're willing to work, then we're willing to put the work into it and the effort to help you succeed.
I was really attracted to Lynchburg primarily because my dad went here. He is an alum, so I kind of had that close tie of being interested in the school, and the school had what I wanted to study. I knew I wanted to help people in the area of health and wellness, so the health promotion program was definitely a program that drew me in, and from day one I've been in love with it, and I wouldn't have chosen any different. I have never had better professors or teachers in my life, and I think here at the University of Lynchburg,
Back on Schellenberger Field, if you're just joining us, welcome. Here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network, we've had a full slate of action today, and goal was ruled not a goal. We'll put it that way, leaving us at a loss of words. The call, it was a crease violation against Sydney Dumas, and so there is not a score in the goal tally for Lynchburg, just the lone one they had early in this game, and there's another one for CNU. They don't let you get your thoughts in. They just find their way to fight back, and there is Sloan McDonald. Goal number 17 on the season. Wow. The operation is just so smooth, and the passing to get into the 8-meter circle just finds a spot. That's all you need. So here we go back to the draw, 13-1. Here's an interesting stat for Lynchburg, and some fans won't appreciate this because it is more of a telltale sign. Lynchburg is 9-0 when leading at the half this year. They're 0-4 when trailing. And we will have to see if that stays the same. Imagine with CNU and what they are bringing to the table. It will be a trend that stays alive. You wonder if you make that the entire season. We did talk about how there have been so many lopsided results, so it is not exactly a surprise that you see that, but even in some of those close games, think about Meredith and Randolph-Macon, they could have gone either way, and Randolph-Macon really had an opportunity in the fourth quarter. They were up really with a shot to solidify the game, and then Lynchburg just found a way to bite back. Neely Morris, not in a few home. Lynchburg 14 or more goals in every win this season. Before the Macon game, it was 16. CNU has been able to get it done in a variety of ways. They've had a few close wins. 11-9 versus Roanoke was the lowest scoring win this season. There's another tic-tac-toe to the net. Kate Lamondola does it again. CNU is not kept off the scoreboard for long. It has been an absolute snowstorm since Kelsey Winters got it started. And wow, you just think about the captains and what they have been able to accomplish, not just in this game, but you look at the entire season. It is formidable stuff. Right now, though, you can't see it on camera. The CNU track team is actually sticking around to watch some of the action. Very rare that you get to have a CNU reunion in Lynchburg. That doesn't happen every day, but the captains appear to have a large fan base. The parents in attendance, and now the track team before they venture on their way back home, taking in some of the action here in Lynchburg. 14-1 lead. Back to the draw circle. We'll see if Tori King can get things right. Whistle is caught. I think it will stay with CNU. (4-0) ODAC start this season, and last time that happened was in 2012 for Lynchburg. Think about Neely Morris's 8-goal affair as well. That was the most since an individual game in 2012. Those individual performances can go a long way. Look at that shot. Bounces in right through the legs of Brady. Malin Eversole, the newest addition to the score tally. Anytime that they have just an inkling of separation, they're firing away, and it is sticking. The wall is taped up at this point with the captains, their offensive explosion. Lynchburg has yet to encounter a losing streak this season. You came back from that Roanoke game, you got the impression that would be the toughest test this season where they faced that, and they came back, really made that game count against Randolph-Macon. Their losses have all been followed up with a win. After all, they did lose that opening game at Mary Washington 17-6, and so you were trying to find your footing. New coach, new system, and they came back in a big way, got the win, the first one versus Methodist, and ever since they have still found ways to come back after losses. And so if this one does go final with an L, you have to imagine the next game is going to be that big test again. Shenandoah coming into town on Wednesday. It will not be an easy affair for Lynchburg by any stretch. Shenandoah, another team that despite being overshadowed in the narratives by Roanoke and Washington and Lee, they are still silently putting up some good performances this season. Hence the reason they have found their spot in the national rankings. Here's Reagan Bradley, spin move, trying to find some space. Dumas, door closed. And now Bradley does everything she can. Lynchburg just biting away, trying to keep possession, unable to do so. CNU the other way. Look at this. Fresh green in front for the captains, trying to create an opportunity with numbers. Give and go through to the middle. No crease called. That was really close, dangerous stuff. That's why they hold this one out. Now CNU can take a few minutes. Clock has been rolling, 21 shots for the captains, and they have really held Lynchburg to that low number, just 4 shots. That's the reason why the Hornets have struggled to even feel like they had a shot at momentum. Just a sense that CNU has continued to operate, especially in that draw control category. Yellow card will be called on Brooklyn Morrison on that shot, and so it sends her to the penalty box. A few substitutions. Lynchburg will have numbers, and they'll try to work with it. 2:38 left in the second quarter. Brooklyn Morrison, the sophomore midfielder out of Ashburn, Virginia. Last year, All-State and Coast-to-Coast Conference Rookie of the Year. Morrison now on her sophomore campaign like many of the Hornets and still finding contributions. 58 draw controls, 53 points coming into this game. You want to do a case study on anybody on the CNU squad, good luck picking one. We know the All-Americans pop out on the page, but there are so many ways to win in this women's lacrosse climate. 12 players on the field at once, and so to pick one obviously is a very small sample size, but you do know that this offense has been fine-tuned and ready to go. Guidi, Iapika, Winters, the list goes on. CNU adding to the tally. Now up big, you got to focus on fundamentals if you're either squad. You understand if you're Coach Rafferty that you've seen this a few times this season now. You've also been on the other side, and so these lopsided results, you just got to find ways to be persistent. It has been a windy day in the Hill City that likely hasn't had too much of an impact. Lacrosse probably a little less affected than these other sports. Green card is shown. The question is, who is the candidate? Referee discussion. And now we might have a conference in the middle of the field. An all-woman officiating crew today. It's so cool to see in sports nowadays. We have seen what the WNBA has been able to show in the spotlight. You think about this. This is a conversation that I think so many people will neglect to have because it's been had for years, but now you're starting to see these emergent stars like the Caitlin Clarks in women's sports that have just shown that light. And it's the sense that not only are you getting women in sports ready to go, but it's everybody. And it's just sports in general that are being impacted. And you understand it is so good for the industry, but also just for us as people to be able to take away stuff from some of the biggest contributors and the biggest influencers all around. Green card confirmation. It will be on a number 14, Faith O'Connor. Resuming action, just over a minute left in this first half. Lynchburg will try to steal one back. Sunny day in the Hill City. The nightcap will be men's lacrosse. They have had a very high and low season under Coach Kudelka. That's always the case, it feels like, because they play so many ranked opponents. You're not going to be perfect with them. You do what you can to get those wins, and they've started to get them in a big way. One versus Amherst, came back and really took this one to the wire with WNL, lost it at home. There's a wind-up and fire. Reagan Bradley banks it on in as the seconds expire in this first half. Reagan Bradley, a hat trick in the last game, finally able to break the wall for Lynchburg, and that is likely what sends us to halftime. CNU has been near flawless in this first half, but it ends with a little glimmer of hope for Lynchburg and trying to find their way back. Can you build momentum, not just in this game, but going into a stretch that will be very difficult? Lynchburg knows what task is ahead of them. They're going to try to get things even in the second half. Can they steal some of the energy back? 15-2 CNU. We'll be back with some halftime stats and analysis. Evan Gates rocking with you on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zipline and ropes course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals.
We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Cheer for the stumbles. That he should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
My name is Alexis Fabula. I major in criminology and I double minor in psychology and criminal forensics. My favorite part about Lynchburg is the friends that I've come to have. It's helped me come out of my shell more, and it's helped me become the person I am and the student I am. I really enjoyed how small the campus was, and I also really enjoy how small the class sizes are. It made me feel like I was going to be more engaged than I would at a bigger campus. If someone was on the fence of coming to the University of Lynchburg, I would definitely love to sit down and have a conversation with them, because I'm forever grateful that I made this choice. It's definitely something that a student wouldn't regret. Out of my 4 years here, I've not had one bad experience. I've had a great 4 years, and I'm going to be very sad to go.
This video isn't about me. It's about the limitless possibilities that the University of Lynchburg allows me to be. An athlete, an artist, an adventurer, a writer, a believer, a human. Because what I love about the University of Lynchburg is that they have a saying, here we're home. And honestly though, I think a better fit would be a home for everyone. Because it doesn't matter the color of your skin, the person you love, the God you pray to, the pronouns you use, the city you're from, the language you speak. University of Lynchburg gives you the greatest opportunity they can for you to be the absolute best version of yourself.
Every great college has a great city. For Lynchburg, we are near urban areas with lots of restaurants, shopping, and events. Plus, we are one of the top schools in the area. Come see for yourself.
Welcome back to the Hill City. Second half on the docket, just about ready to get underway. Evan Gates taking you through the action on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of those halftime stats as we get ready for the opening draw in this second half. And really, the goals tally and shots column will tell the story. CNU has just dominated possession, and Lynchburg has still not exactly fallen out of this game with the other stats. The draw control is something that you always have to keep your eye on. We know that Lynchburg has really struggled against opponents in that regard when they are losing games. You know you have to really cause an impression in the draw circle, but so far CNU has just taken every possession. They're doing it in dominant fashion, and they are looking to hold on in the second half as we start things back up in the middle. The captains and the Hornets. We've got Lynchburg taking on Randolph-Macon afterwards on the men's side. Double dip action on Schellenberger Field, we should say. Triple threat action with the track meet this morning, but we will digress. Here comes CNU. Not wasting any time, getting right back to it. Sun's starting to set on the far side. It can start posing some problems, maybe not in this game, but in the next game, right over the roof on the far Freer Hall dorm. For the captains right now, I don't think it matters what is getting in their eyes. They're always keeping them on the prize, and they have done it at a high rate. The way that they have really cut and found the middle in this game has been so impressive. Timing is always one thing in lacrosse, but I think it's the intentionality, especially with Winters having the ball in her stick. And here's Iapika, who can just create action at the drop of a dime. Pass disrupted by Bornholtz, still held on by Winters, looking over the top. CNU threads it through. This one rattles off. See what the call is. Captain still in action. Another pass goes over. Just a scramble. It could be dangerous. This one almost falls right in front of Caleb Brady. That would have been an almost gimme for CNU. Falls out. Now the captains can hold on again. Virginia Heffernan did the dirty work, just trying to jumpstart the clear for Lynchburg. Now have an option down the other way. Oh, Wheeler had to get away. Now trying to get out of trouble. CNU doing a great job of at least applying pressure in those situations. It seems like there has not been a free play for Lynchburg throughout this game. Those plays like the one from Sloan McDonald doing just enough. And this one, a product of those hustle plays. CNU is seeing it at a very high level. Looks like the goal will be taken away. Don't know what the official call was. Faith O'Connor was the one trying to slot it home. So the captains will have to be content at 15 for now. Lynchburg looking the other way. Dumas has become well acquainted with the turf today. She has been all over the place. And now the captains right back to it. It just seems like it is a broken record at this point that the captains are going to get their way, have their will, and secure the win if they can keep it rolling. This next game coming up for Lynchburg, the Shenandoah matchup, is going to be so crucial because you understand at this stage of the season that stats are going to matter, but if Lynchburg can just ruffle their feathers enough and stay in this game, you have to imagine that they have a shot. They have struggled against these ranked opponents this year. The only other one has been Roanoke. We know how that one went. It was a 20-4 defeat in Salem. Captains capitalize again. This one is staying on the board for Sloan McDonald. Coming in with 16 goals, 11 assists on the season. So back to the middle. When you look at CNU from a statistical standpoint, they're shooting over 50%. They don't take a whole lot of shots, but they make the ones that they take, averaging just under 27, which we don't want to say it's a bad stat. It's just in comparison to some of these offensive machines, not something that is exactly going to stand out. I feel like that's even more credit, though, to what CNU has been able to accomplish, that they don't exactly jump out. They're shooting 6 more shots than opponents, despite that shot category and despite just barely nudging opponents out in the draw control category. 184 to 177 before this game. Just 7 in favor of the captains, and you realize that even with some possession stats that go either way, they're still capitalizing. They're still keeping opponents off the board. No shots allowed. That artillery has been hard to come by. It all connects in lacrosse, and it's not always this way, but the stats can kind of tell a story. If you look more into it, this is the reason why Hadley Chadwick has likely had such good numbers this season, because she's facing fewer shots. She is just a good goalkeeper in general. You don't want to take that away from her, but the conditions have been ideal. Much like what we have in front of us here at Schellenberger Field. A sunny, warm Saturday afternoon. Probably a little warmer around the East Coast. CNU used to those higher temperatures. Not by much, though. We did have a few schools from down south at the track meet earlier. Emory, one of the schools from just outside Atlanta. Hot stuff all around. This shot saved. And here comes the pile. Brady does enough to keep it out. Target was selected for Emily Snyder, just couldn't come away with it now. Lynchburg attacking the other way. Does not stay long. The clear. And then the turnover. Christopher Newport, just a school in general that has some really good athletic programs. It extends beyond just this women's lacrosse squad. If you look at what they did in men's basketball just a little while ago, they were the national champs. Almost had it stay in-house in the ODAC this year. Guilford taking on Hampton-Sydney in the Final Four. Hampton-Sydney found its way into the championship game just to lose to Trine, but it was a close affair. That was a conversation many of us had, especially as ODAC fans, the fact that Hampton-Sydney played Guilford in Indiana. When are you going to get that again? It was a game that many thought we were robbed of in the ODAC tournament. Sid Guidi continuing to have her way. Number 3. Just showing us what she can do, and she has solidified the hat trick. Still rolling in this third quarter. CNU has 17 on the board. Guidi not really in any of the top categories on the stat sheet, but she is good at everything, and that is something that is very admirable, especially when you're trying to find depth. You see the scoring funnel through the top 3 or 4, but then you still have these athletes who can step in big ways. Guidi is one of those top 3 or 4 in the goal scoring tally, so I guess in itself it does stick out. It's just not the top. Anytime you have Winters and Iapika, players like that on your offense, you love to be able to suit up next to them. Lacrosse is a different sport from basketball and some of these others as well, because for basketball, let's say you have LeBron James on your team, well, you're probably going against him every single practice. For lacrosse, it's really just the defense that has that battle. The offense is always really working together. They're on the same side of the ball. And so you know that Iapika and some of these other attackers probably have that chemistry down as grad students. That's one thing, but they love working together. They enjoy the big moments. They will keep it rolling. Peyton Seville goes to the penalty box, one of the seniors being recognized, the Woodgrove graduate. Seville has had such a stellar career with Lynchburg. You look at some of the numbers and the career stats. Seville just continues to operate at a high level, and I think it's so impressive when you have the longevity. You go back to Coach Reed. Ushering in a new coach for your senior season is not the easiest thing in the world. It is so different. But Coach Rafferty is one that you will learn to appreciate and trust down the stretch. She has continued to just instill confidence in this group, a young group that you could say is still finding its footing. What is that footprint going to look like? And as Coach Rafferty's recruits continue filing in, you know that's going to start looking a little bit different year by year. The sophomore class for Lynchburg that has been so good is mainly a result of Coach Reed's recruiting, but now you see what this staff is doing, and Lynchburg is just in a spot where they are ready to go. They want to look towards the future, and they know that they are a top 4, top 5, top 6 ODAC competitor. Looking at a chance at hosting an ODAC game this year. Shot rattles off and in. Really took an awkward bounce. Blake Hopkins finds the goal column. The captains find the way to get it done, and the free position opportunity. Hopkins comes into this game with 14 goals on the season. There are so many up and down the CNU bench who are just ready to go. This is a program that has a vision. They know what they're capable of doing in the postseason. Second round is not enough. When you have this number of grad students, you realize this is the moment. If you're a Lynchburg fan, you remember last year's national championship run for the baseball team, and though they didn't have a full slate of grad students, they did have a lot who ended up transferring, some of those veterans, and they are a luxury. The COVID year is not a guarantee. There are some athletes that are not going to get that extra year of eligibility. We're living in such a different era for Division III sports. You even look at the D1 level now, some of the NIL deals just transforming this collegiate climate, and it's something that we're living in where we might not even know the full picture ourselves. Just reinvents itself game after game, year after year. The conference realignment is certainly something to be noticed, and it's funny that we have a coast-to-coast conference team in this game, because most of the time D3 conference is situated around 1 or 2 states. The ODAC has everyone but Guilford and Virginia. But obviously the money side of things in Division I has made it a little bit different. That's why you have teams like Stanford and SMU joining the ACC. The direction of this Division I world will really become clear in the years to come. The captain searching, looking. Shot clock down to 5. Ball rattles out. Looks like possession's going to be stopped. Lynchburg can go the other way. Far side of the field, looking the other way, goes back to the defense, and now CNU can pass it around. The carousel continues. This one to the infield. Oh, they have a chance now. Lynchburg had to be careful momentarily. Quigley had a chance to turn it the other way. Carson Quigley started in goal for a lot of the first portion of the season, and now with the arrival of Caleb Brady, who is between the pipes for Lynchburg now, and Corinne West having the start for Lynchburg, it is a very different look. Quigley can officially go back to playing the field. Just over 2 minutes in this third quarter. Captains in traffic, unable to avert. Here comes Lynchburg. Can they finally solidify one of those possessions? Just a few quick passes and patience. It has been a disruptive defense, to say the least. Christopher Newport is allowing just a couple ticks before they come after you. Here's Dumas, one of the best in isolation. When she gets going, she is gone. Here comes 7. Weaving in and out. Here it is. One-on-one chance. Fakes the pass, dodges back, and now Lynchburg can set up shop. She's really missing that tag team partner in McKenna Steinow. We've seen so many connections between the two of them up front. Should expect Steinow to be back this season. But the season is dwindling away very quickly, and that's not because Lynchburg is losing this game. That is just what the schedule has to say. It's pretty objective that the ODAC tournament is just a few weeks away. Lynchburg at the top will get ready to fire it, and now they will just pass it through. Bradley finds King wide open. The whistle comes first. Sometimes you find yourself that open. There's normally something coinciding, and now Lynchburg will have a free position opportunity. What can Tori King do? The senior looking to put in another. This one rattles off. Great defense from the captains. The last second, Lynchburg does enough to get it back. Failed clear for CNU. That's why Lynchburg is so good. Their defense swarms you before you get the shot off. Dumas, 13 seconds. It took away the transition opportunity for CNU. Can they capitalize? 6 on the shot clock, 6 on the game clock rather. Hauser just loses it. CNU gets away. That's how the third quarter wraps up. Hornets will be disappointed, but it was a little more optimistic as Lynchburg hanging in there. 15 more minutes to go. 18-2. CNU leads. They're trying to finish it off on Schellenberger Field. We'll be right back on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well, but it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
15 fresh here on the schedule to finish us off here at Schellenberger Field, 18-2 CNU. So glad you're joining us on LHSN. We had track meet earlier today. Who knows, maybe we have a few listeners on the drive home. We've had a lot of teams and a lot of parents in attendance. Well, we're so glad you're spending your afternoon with us. We're having fun, and Lynchburg's looking to find the goal column again. You got to figure it out and realize it is a fresh 15. It's 0-0, and just move forward because Coach Rafferty is constantly trying to get this squad back, and we have seen so many opportunities where this season it has come down to a lopsided result. It's not always like that, though, in reality, and you understand that Lynchburg's schedule has just been setting that up as Dumas weaves inside, drops it home, so Lynchburg is winning that 0-0 battle in this fourth quarter. Dumas puts the first one up. Number 7 has a goal, and we can officially extend her goal streak. She has scored in every single game this season, all but 2 in her Lynchburg career. Have to imagine that Lynchburg's schedule next year will be a little bit different, and you don't know with Coach Rafferty who she's going to target, which schools. Typically, it's not a coaching decision as to who you play and who you don't. It's an entire athletic department that influences that category, but we will say that Lynchburg has continued to face strong opponents in-house. The ODAC is strength to strength. Iron sharpens iron, and Washington and Lee is on the schedule very soon. We know what they are capable of doing. Sign for optimism if you're Lynchburg is that CNU beat WNL earlier this year. So obviously you are playing a team that has faced some of the best and beaten some of the best. CNU will improve to 11-4. Assuming this result holds, we have seen crazy stuff in sports before, but it would have to take that 1 goal a minute progression that CNU almost emulated in the first quarter. Now they can just pass it around. The offense has been so smooth. Staying in motion, nobody sticks around for long, and the passing might be the punctuation mark that we have paid attention to. Just from a neutral standpoint, count how many seconds they hold on to it before they fire it away. It really is a well-oiled machine. Look at that, just losing in isolation. Lynchburg's defense, from a communication standpoint, will really learn a lot about themselves today. And we don't want to say that it was entirely on the defense. It goes down to the connections as Kelsey Winters. What's another one? 19 for Christopher Newport. It's more than just defense. It's connections. It starts in the draw circle. You just put more pressure down the system, and eventually it's just the goalie and the attacker, and that is the last case scenario. You do not want to encounter that because CNU has been red hot today. 19 on 27 shots. Have to get the official calculation. Lynchburg is shooting 50%. Just 3 of 6. They've only gotten 6 shots off. That's what CNU does. They're shooting 6 more shots than their opponents. That will go up. Captain squad that goes on back home rather to face Mary Washington before on the road at Salisbury. Both games coming up. They have a week's time to prepare for both. So a lot of practices coming up for CNU. For Lynchburg, they're going to have some staggered action. They will finish their schedule very soon. They have a Wednesday game coming up back home. You at least eliminate some of the travel. They did get to go to Averett, and a solid result makes it a little bit easier, but a long night coming home. That's just collegiate athletics in general. CNU has outscored opponents in the fourth quarter 51-28. Not that they will run up the score in this fourth quarter, but you do know that the captains have been in a lot of tight battles throughout the season, and that's why that category is so good, because they've been willing to score. They are just getting timely contributions, and really the contributors that step up in the big moments are the ones that you see on the field the most. It's not a surprise that Winters was a first-team All-American selection last year. Hyapika on the second team. We have not talked very often about the defense for CNU today, but they have been stifling as well, and you just see that tight pressure, eliminating opportunities before they even have a chance to formulate. We see them in action now. Seville looking to get the first few steps. Here comes a free position shot. Number 23 can take her time and lace one up. 19-3, CNU leads, final 10 minutes. Waiting for the whistle. Here comes Seville. Few steps, fires right off the mark. Escapes. Lynchburg gets there first, just barely, and now the Hornets can restart the possession. Shot clock around 50. Patient offense. Reagan Bradley runs this one out. It is senior day. As we said, it is not the final home game for Lynchburg. A little untraditional. See, some schools will wait until the final contest as Dumas, once again going to the turf, tries to just lob this one over, waiting for the call. Looks like it might be a card. Referee contemplating. Almost playing the role of traffic cop, trying to get everybody in the right spots for the right time. It does look like a free possession shot is on the way. Dumas has the ball on her stick. Really less of a free position and more of just a restart of the possession. Here comes Seville. Space collapses, now going back out, spin. Wow, there's the wall. CNU just built it quickly. But a great penetration from Lynchburg. There you go. Go over the top, Reagan Bradley. She gets her second of the game. Reagan Bradley, a bright spot in a game that has been CNU's from the start. Reagan Bradley is someone who just continues to operate this season, and you think about some of the roles that she has been in previously. Well, last year, really freshman season, missed the entire season with an injury, and then just 4 games last season. You have seen her in a new way this season. So many of these Hornets who might have not even started last year have gotten a start this year. I believe it's 6 or 7 now. We had a tally going of players who got a start in this 24 campaign. New faces matter, and obviously that is the returning staff. So obviously not the freshmen. Rules out the Maya Hausers of the world. Had a good interview with Maya Hauser after the Randolph-Macon game. One of the interesting questions that we addressed was the fact that as a freshman, she might not know the quote-unquote bad blood between Randolph-Macon and Lynchburg. I don't think there is anything extracurricular going on, but you do know that Randolph-Macon and Lynchburg are very familiar with each other. You remember the one-goal affairs from last year. Remember the fact that Randolph-Macon sent Lynchburg home on this field. There was a little extra emphasis, but Hauser just said she kind of wanted to let the code red energy work for her, and then she could work for her teammates, and it has been a very successful strategy. Penalty will give Lynchburg a player-up opportunity as Emily Snyder hits the penalty box. CNU back on the run, 6:04 to play. Sun goes down a little bit later every single day now. The days are getting longer, and so it's always cool just to go back and look at games from earlier this season. Had some of those 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock starts where it was dark for the majority. By the time the men's team gets their action started, we might have a darker setting here in Lynchburg. A beautiful place to take in all the sports. A Saturday and a loaded slate in this spring schedule. Postseason just so close. You hope you can see a few postseason games here at Lynchburg. You know that these next few weeks help solidify those standings. A lot of professional sports leagues starting to get down to the nitty-gritty as well. NBA down to its final days. CNU passing shot off the mark. It will be a call that will give CNU a free position shot. March and April may be the best time of the year. We don't want to offend any of the fall sports, but there are so many going on right now, and you can almost find every sport in some facet. Sorry, football fans. Captains over the top and in, climb the ladder. Addie Lamy finds her second. Oh, wait, no, this one's called back again. We've seen it a few times today. Referee doesn't allow it. So Lamy was searching for her second, had a very good shot at it. Might have been in the crease. Hauser creating transition, and Lynchburg does it well. Few quick passes, and they suddenly find themselves in attack mode again. Bradley wraps around, a chance for the hat trick. Sniffed out. Chadwick just keeps it cool. Now the Hornets can reset. Dumas just going to take a few seconds, and now Lynchburg an opportunity to look forward. We know that it is a tough schedule, but you have to appreciate what they have done this season. Just one conference loss. That will stay the same after this game. That's why it matters having short-term memory. Dumas, contact all over, and flag came out. Sometimes the game plan is simpler than we expect. It might just be harass Sydney Dumas. Check to the head. So another penalty on CNU, and they have started to stack up. Jacqueline Thomas. Again, not that this will impact the storyline of this game, but you do start thinking about those games late in the season. Can't allow the penalties to stack up. Dumas. Takes it back out. That is a new part of this game that Lynchburg has explored this season. Dumas almost always will take the pass rather than trying to slot those free position shots home. Might be a question for Coach Rafferty as we head into the climax of this season, because Dumas is so good, so strong when she shoots, but might be a statistical thing. Think about Moneyball and some of the sports statistics that don't always make sense at face value, but when you dig a little deeper, it might make some more. I mean, after all, we're not criticizing Lynchburg the way they have had a 9-4 season, trying to move forward. Captains just tossing it around, trying to find the open options. Lynchburg's defense has done well in this fourth quarter, staying on its toes, not allowing any front door deliveries. CNU probing with under 2 minutes, advancing to 11-4 on the season. They will be 4-3 on the road now, so back to winning terms in that regard. Captains, another shot opportunity for Lamy. Goes awry. Here's Bornholt. Connects. And Mayer can take off. Almost like a football player going to the end zone, right down the sideline. Mayer had an intention of taking it the whole way. Hornets, maybe one final possession for this game. It has been a fun affair. Obviously not the result Lynchburg wants, but when CNU waltzes into town with their talent and their resume, you have to expect it's going to be a tough encounter. Lynchburg can look forward now. So many positive signs when you look at this season, and you hope Steinow will be back for the Hornets, but you look at Sydney Dumas, 8 hat tricks in her sophomore campaign. You could even say that she's gone quiet lately. I'd argue that she has been as effective as ever, but you look at the stat sheet, she hasn't scored exactly at the same rate. She did start the season with 5 hat tricks, so that's a pretty good precedent being set. But as Lynchburg moves forward, it might be the contributors that you don't always see that are the ones that can make a difference. The Reagan Bradleys who have stepped up in big ways with hat tricks left and right. Just the mental contributions. Think about Kayla Brady. Have Bradley and Brady on this team. Bradley will go to the box. Pretty obvious call. That will wrap this one up. But there are so many emotions throughout a season. You just got to be able to balance it. And Lynchburg is going to have to take this one on the chin and move forward. CNU gets it done in the Hill City. Barring any last-minute goals, it will be a finale at 19-4. They do take the final shot. Brady saves it. That's how we finish it up. So obviously, little punctuation mark, maybe a glimpse of light moving forward. But Lynchburg falls, and though it was a very tough encounter that CNU essentially dominated from the start, you know the Hornets have tougher horizons. They're going to have to go against some very tough teams in-house. Shenandoah and Washington and Lee coming up quickly before a game with Virginia Wesleyan. What can the Hornets do moving forward? It's a question Coach Rafferty will have to address. It starts with the post-game speech in the locker room and moving out of this weekend. Lynchburg still has a lot of lacrosse left. We are so glad you have joined us on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. We have had fun all day long, and the fun continues with Mr. Sam Graham. He will take you through the men's lacrosse broadcast later today, and a very exciting affair that we will have with Randolph-Macon. So that does it on our broadcast. Big thanks to our director, Kyle Ayers, and we are saying so long from the Hill City. Lynchburg falls 19-4.